Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to today's live stream. It is Sunday, the 13th of April, and we're about to do our daily portrait practice. And today we're sketching Jozefine, who almost 2 years ago I had the honor of meeting in Antwerpen at the Canyo Wish You Were Here exhibition, and it was so cool. And I have very fond memories of Josefina coming up and introducing herself, and it was such a good opportunity to meet so many people from this online art world. And for those of you who are not familiar with it, Canyo is all sorts of things. Amongst those things is a reference sharing group chat. It's also more than that, but that is a way that a lot of people connect, by sharing reference to draw and sketch each other. And everyone is welcome to join. If you are interested, get in touch with me and I can send you the link. Hello, Linda, Ingrid, Cindy, Rave 222, Corinna, Martina. It is so good to have you here. You made it, Linda. It's so nice to have you here, and you were first. Congratulations. So if you would like to join the Canyo group chat where people are sharing their references, then write to me and I will send you the link. And another thing I would like to let you know is a couple of days ago, someone asked about viewing the live chat replay while watching replays, and you can, there is a certain amount of time processing after the live stream, but after 12 hours or 24 hours, maybe, if you're watching the replay, you can toggle on the live chat replay. Maybe it's even sooner, but somewhere down below, there's this description where there's lots of links, and then there's the live chat replay. So you are able to watch the replay and read what people are saying in the chat. So people say lots of things in the chat, ask lots of questions. Krista, you saw the pic in the group. It's so cool that you joined the Canyo chat as well. Hi, Lisbeth. Brigitte, so nice to have you all here. I'm working with watercolor. Yesterday's, I feel like this could similarly be useful today to start with a drawing, because there's these really interesting shadow shapes, a similar kind of lighting setup as yesterday's portrait. Yeah, everyone, by the way, follow Jozefine right here on Instagram, Jozefine Proper Art. And let's sketch this portrait. Anything else to say? Join my mentorship if you feel like it. Check out my website, dylansara.com/mentorship. It's going to be starting end of April, a small group of people learning together, really focused, and it's going to be really cool. So if that sounds interesting to you, check it out on the website, ask me questions, get in touch, let's sketch. I'm going to put a timer on and go for it. So red pencil, why not? It's fun working with these polychromos pencils because they stay in place once you put paint onto them, which is fun. So this is really cool. In the Canyo group chat, I've experienced this a few times where people are like, I need reference of people lying on the floor. And then people from around the world will be like, take photos of themselves lying on the floor. And someone, I think yesterday or the day before, said that they want to do a series of portraits of people taking selfies in the mirror where the phone is visible. And then so many people have been taking photos, sharing photos of themselves where the phone is visible in the photo. And it's such a cool idea that people are just like, have an idea, put it out to the group, and then this collective of people around the world are all eager to help each other out. It's really, really cool. So yeah, there's so many cool things about the art community online. Canyo is one of the cool places of exchange and shared inspiration and growth and learning. It's very cool. And it's also, there's a lot of really like chaotic meme sharing and all sorts of things. There's a Canyo Discord server as well. I haven't been using it so much, but the Canyo group chat used to be like this super... There's a reference sharing, people sharing their work, and there would also be these parallel really, if you weren't in the conversation, seemingly random conversations. And it was great. It was just like this chaotic flare of this giant group chat where people were sharing all sorts of things. And it was so cool. Lilith van Damme put together a couple of these exhibitions in Antwerpen, and I got to go to the second one and just meet so many of these people. It was so nice. And I feel like it's, in terms of my social interaction, it's been floating my boat for 2 years now because I just got to meet so many people on this one weekend. It was really nice. And it leaves a lasting impression, like when we've sketched quite a few of these people that I met during my live streams. And I'm like, oh, look, here's this wonderful face of this wonderful person that I met, and let's draw them. Yeah, I really like that. Today I went to Tierpark Zaberburg. Does anyone know about Tierpark Zaberburg? June, you were here live. Amazing. Martina's mum's name is Jozefine. Cool. What is up, everyone? What have you been doing today? So I went to Tierpark Zaberburg, which is kind of like a zoo, an animal park, which is on the castle grounds of Sleeping Beauty's castle. And this is part of what I think is so cool in this part of the world, is that there are a lot of stories which kind of belong to the collective consciousness of a lot of us, I would say, a lot of you watching, different of course in different parts of the world, but a lot of these fairy tales and stuff actually happened in places very close to where I live. So Sleeping Beauty's castle is actually an hour's drive away, and below the castle there is this expansive, it used to be the hunting grounds that belonged to the castle, and it was a private forest, and with stone walls which remain enclosing this place. And now it's not a hunting grounds anymore, but it is a zoo, I guess. They call it an animal park. And there are a lot of they have a lot of really big enclosures on these fields, and they have ancient oak trees everywhere, and it is such a special place. There are like wild horses and the European version of the buffalo, the Wiesent. There are so many interesting animals there, and they have these really big fields which are their enclosures. And the first time I was ever there, sometimes the fence is like built into a ditch, so you can't even see the fence. It's really, really cool. And just the trees there are ancient oak trees all over the grounds of this place. And they are just amazing. To be in the presence of these ancient trees is so cool. So that is a place we've often been to, and we were there today, which was cool. What were you doing today? Must be crazy to see someone in real life after having sketched them. Yeah, well, super interesting thing. So I met. Oh, let's get the sequence right. I had drawn Camilo, and lots of people had drawn Camilo, who is he makes a claim to be the most drawn man on the internet, and his work is so good, and he's just such a lovely person. And then Shannon and I got in touch with Camilo, and we're like, would you like to come on the Drawn Together show? We love your work so much. It was so cool to meet. And he did. And then he told me about so that was cool to actually meet Camilo after being in love with his work for years and having sketched him as well, and just like being such a fan. And then we got to meet Camilo and have this conversation, and then hear the voice that belongs to the hands that make this beautiful work. And so we just got to hang out and chat. And then Camilo mentioned the exhibition in Antwerp, and I was like, oh, maybe I could even go there. I've been there before, and that's like, it could be a possibility that I could go to that exhibition. And then I did. And then got to meet Camilo after already having gotten known each other somehow online, and then actually meet in the real world. That was really, really cool. And I would love to meet many more people that I have drawn online. Perhaps even some of you someday. That would be amazing. I've kind of had dreams and visions of like having a kind of, I don't know, sketch gathering festival. And I've talked with Kira about it a few times. And I was talking just about how I think this place, this animal park that we went to today, is so cool. And I was like, it'd be so good to somehow do something there, like to do with art or something. And I've talked about this idea of like having a kind of gathering workshop festival thing in the past. Kira's like, what if you could do your like international artist meetup there? That would be pretty interesting. It's such a beautiful place. All right, here's my drawing. 8 minutes of drawing, my Jozefine drawing. Hi, Tommy. Rave 222 went horse riding in the woods today. Amazing. June has been on a jelly printing Zoom class. Busy. And Martina says that sounds so cool. I mean, Germany has some super folklore and stories. The Grimm brothers, exactly. The Grimm brothers were all over the place here. And so you can actually go to those places. All those things actually happened somewhere. Martina's a beach bum, went to weekly beach outing. That sounds amazing. All right. So I had an idea because Lewis has shared all these amazing limited palette things. What was my idea? Oh, to use blue, and orange. I don't have the same colors Lewis has, but it's been really inspiring looking at his limited palette studies. So I was thinking maybe I've got this blue, or this blue, which I don't use very often. I've got orange, maybe this blue, orange, and indigo, which is really dark. Maybe that could be interesting. And I was thinking the last one I did was actually like blue and orange as well. And I'd like it to be different. So maybe I'll make the skin blue and the background orange. Or maybe the eyes and the phone case could be orange. Yeah, blue skin. Let's do blue skin. Oh, Linda, it was so good to meet you someday. That'd be so much fun. It'd just be so cool. Wouldn't that be cool? All right, so the brightest highlight is the way the light is coming in through the lens here. So that, and on the piercing here, which I haven't kept very clear in the drawing. So if I manage to... Oh, and there's a specular highlight on the nose. That's this like the super bright bit there. This bit here. So Lewis also shared in the Discord server this little tutorial about using masking fluid. I don't use masking fluid. Oh, this is a dirty eraser. Dirty eraser. I want some space here to be able to keep that clear. And everything that's not that, I want wet. Pretty much. Everything that's not those highlights. Oh, there's this nice highlight along the edge down there too. I'll try and kind of leave that. So here, even though it's brighter, I still want it wet at the moment. Hi Ike, hello. Linda, you enjoy doing this quick sketch. Haven't sat down and sketched for a while. When was the last time you sat down and sketched, Linda? I always love having you in the Let's Face It sessions, the last Saturday of the month sessions. So nice sketching with you in those. Always a treat. So it's nice to see you pop up in the chat here as well. Let me see. 18 of you are here. I hope you're all going to say hello in the chat. That would be amazing. And yeah, if you joined late in the beginning, I was saying how in the replay, you can have the live chat replay come up next to the video as well if you're interested in that, which is pretty cool. Which you asked about a couple of days ago, Tommy, and that is the thing that's possible. And I didn't think about the fact that people would not be aware of it. And if you want to, you could be watching the replay with the live chat replay next to it, so you can see what's happening in the conversation. And in that case, it's really interesting when you say stuff in the live chat, and then people will have something to read. And there have been live chats as well where someone has said something really interesting, mentioned a musician or some art supplies or something, and I've gone back to the replay so I could see, what was it that person said in the live chat. I just tipped up the paper because it was like a valley forming here and a lot of water down there. And now I'm going to start putting some blue around. This bright blue, whatever that is in the corner, I'm going to start with that. That's going to be my light. Blue skin tone. And everything that's not those super bright highlights, and maybe also the irises. I think I'll make them orange. I want to do a blue-orange thing today. So everything that's not that, I can put some of this on. Not the highlights, not the irises, but everything else can have this bright blue beginning. So tomorrow I'm going to be going and hanging out with some kids and working on this mural project, and I still have not finalized the design of what we're actually going to do. But we're going to start with a doodle grid, which is a transfer method, so I can get them doodling onto our surface before getting started. Because maybe when I do my own things, I realize how much time things take, and it takes a while to figure out a cool composition. But having a whole bunch of kids with 17 different ideas, being like, this could be in it, and this could be in it, and then trying to make it fit in a 19 by 1 meter and 15 centimeter super long composition, trying to get everything fit, to make it work, to see how could these different things interact with the limited choice of colors that we have available. It's turned out to be quite a task. So I'm still very curious about how it's all going to turn out. Okay, past lunchtime. Enjoy your lunch, June. Linda, let's face it, was the last time you sat down to sketch. Yeah, done a few, but not live. Yeah. Is anyone here watching the live chat in the live stream for the first time? You could say hi. Or if you're watching in the replays, sometimes it seems there are waves of new people joining and finding my channel, and it's always a treat when people are like, I just found your channel, this is so cool, so helpful, love this practice together and stuff. And I also appreciate everyone who's been here from the very beginning and seen all of my videos and done all of my classes and stuff, but it's always nice. Whatever way that you're here, however many times you've been here, it's always nice, but it's interesting. People are like, this is the first time I've been here. It's just like a random meeting. And I wonder, how did you get here? Maybe I'll use a different blue for the hair. Up here. Hi, Sara. You always enjoy these sessions. That's nice. Nice to hear. I enjoy them too. And I'm glad you do too. I may be hosting an Easter webinar sometime next weekend, this coming weekend. I'll be talking more about it very soon, but my last webinar was about leaning into lightness, which was kind of a precursor to my mentorship, open to everyone, but the idea of starting lightly and playfully, and the next phase in the cycle after the playful beginning is the growth, similar to what's happening in the seasons outside. Spring right now, but it's interesting because it can just be abundant growth. It can also be growth in the face of adversity, how we adapt to the challenges that are posed to us and how we learn and keep going through those things to kind of reach the next stage of our work and our understanding. So I am still conceptualizing what it's going to be called, what exactly it's going to be about, but this coming weekend there'll be a free webinar coming up, which everyone is welcome to join, and will also be addressing my mentorship, which the next round is starting late April. And if that sounds interesting to you, I'd love to hear from you. So join my mailing list. There is a link in the description. So someone asked recently, where's the description you keep talking about? If you go below the live video, there'll be a tab where it kind of says something, and then maybe you can tap something that expands it and says more, and there's a link to join my mailing list. I'll put some of this is interesting, this darker blue can put into the deeper shadows here as well. So it's interesting, the whole concept of before the first round of mentorship. I've been busy with this workshop that's coming up this week. Otherwise I would have been able to dedicate a lot more of my attention to getting the word out for the next phase of the mentorship. But when I was thinking about it a lot in the beginning of the year, I'm wondering about the phases of creation and the kind of path and cycles that we go through as we're making our work and as we're learning this fractal experience of the creative journey within each piece that we make. It was really interesting to think about that, to kind of address that, as it's really interesting to perceive our growth and learning in a cyclical way, and to recognize the different phases of how we learn and grow, and it can be about different things every time. It may be technical, it may be more about a vision or a certain quality that we want to communicate in our work, and it can be the same kind of cyclical exploration. Is interesting, whatever kind of question is being posed, whatever's happening for us at any given time in the phase we're working through. Tommy, so interesting that using a cold colour for the face and then an even colder colour to make the face relatively warm. I wouldn't think of that. It's interesting, isn't it? I just had this narrow choice, because I was thinking, okay, orange and blue. and I wanted to avoid like doing the same as I did yesterday, so I inverted it. And yeah, it's interesting just to discover new things, make choices which lead to a new kind of new experience. And I find it kind of liberating. A lot of the practices that I use in my sketching and stuff, it's often, I find the recurring theme is like sketching towards a liberating way of practicing, where I don't feel stuck by kind of certain preconceptions or expectations that I have of creation in general or of my own abilities, and that's what I enjoy about working with this like non-representational colors of what's actually here. Is it's like, okay, if I focus on the value and then just work in this way, it may lead to some really interesting things. And then like flipping the colors that I maybe would have gone for if I was trying to do something more realistic. Yeah, it's just really interesting to see what kind of effect that has. I saw otters today at this animal park that we went to. They're delightful. And I saw bunnies. So we have our own bunnies, but they at this place they also have bunnies, and they're all different. And there was one that I'm sure just looked like a big squirrel. It had short, pointy ears compared to our rabbits. It didn't have a big bushy tail, but it was a lot like a squirrel. It had a very squirrel-like vibe. So that was cool to meet that squirrel rabbit. A few different kinds of pigs. Woolly pigs, big pigs, pot-belly pigs, wild pigs. I saw a snoozing wolverine. What animals have you seen today? Bunnies, squirrels, otters. So good. Our bunnies are well. So last night I was thinking about predators in the region. I'm wondering, are my bunnies really safe? Am I taking proper care of my bunnies? So Jozefine is seems to me to be very active in this Kenya group chat, sharing lots of cool references, doing so much work, so many paintings, so great to see. If my memory serves me correctly, I believe Jozefine is from Groningen in the Netherlands, which I spent one night in Groningen and hitchhiked through once upon a time. Whoa, those blue eyes, the orange eyes. are intense. How's everyone doing? Lewis, you are forgiven for being late. As is anyone else. If you have joined late, have been afraid to say hello because you're late, and it's like you're walking into a room where everyone's really focused, and you're like, just sitting down, trying not to make any noise, feel free to speak up and say good evening, and we can celebrate your arrival. So nice to have you here, Lewis and everyone. You're going to be in Groningen in December. Cool. What's happening in Groningen? You don't even know what a Wolverine is, Rave222. Ein Vielfraß is what they call it in German, which I think is Fjellfraß or something. It's like a Scandinavian name, and it's like a giant weasel. the biggest of the weasels, which is like badgers and ferrets and martens. What else is in that family? It's the biggest of them all. And it has an incredible biting ability. Ike's just watching. Martina knows Wolverine from X-Men. Linda's late so much. And you always announce when you arrive. And you were first today. Incredible. And Linda has been enjoying everyone's posts in the Discord server. Such awesome work. People love it. Everyone, please, if you have not already, please join the Discord server. And someone who hasn't been posting their work posted today and said, I've just been watching, but really enjoying being here. And that was so cool. Thank you for speaking up, Jen. I'm going to put the link to the Discord server as I'm talking. This is drying a little bit, and I may be able to put something on top of the dryness. Bye-bye, Corinna. I'm not here. Discord. There you go. Welcome to Discord. Oh, you're going to a concert in Groningen. Nice. And Corinna said, really enjoyed this reference. Thank you. Sticking with drawing for now. Watercolor still terrifies me. But sadly, you've got to go. Leave the video running. Thank you. That's so nice. Leaving the video running makes, even if you're not present, makes YouTube think, this person really likes this video. They're watching it all the way to the end. And if you want to help me, there are lots of many ways you can help me. There's the thumbs up button, subscribing to the channel, interacting in the chat and the comments. There are links in the description to how you can financially support me as well. Buy me a coffee, Patreon, my courses, all those sorts of things. But another way to support just within the YouTube realm is let the videos play to the end. And even if you're not watching them, and then YouTube thinks, oh, this person must have really liked this video, we'll show it to some other people too. So apparently that's a thing. And if anyone else here has YouTube channels, I know Ike does, we can support each other by watching each other's videos and letting them play to the end, which is a nice thing to be able to do. There are ways, whoa, that's wet. In this kind of sometimes confusing world of algorithms and stuff, there are things we can do to help each other's accounts and videos and creations get seen. And that's something that I also think would be a really nice part of like the Discord server and just this wonderful community in general is our ability to support each other. And whether that's giving feedback in the Discord server, suggestions for things we can work with, sharing resources, just connecting and following each other and actually establishing meaningful art friendships online. But yeah, in terms of having like engaging with content, which sounds a bit like dry, but it can be super helpful to help each other's channels on whatever platform to grow and be seen. And I know there's just not enough time in the day. Sometimes I watch videos at double speed. You can choose your playback speed, and I'll put videos on at double speed. If I'm not recording something, I'll often be listening to something while working on something, and I often listen to things at double speed. Then I get to listen to twice as much. Unless it's music, then I want to hear it in the original speed. Yeah, leave it running while you're at work. Just leave it running. My Tommy says my multitasking skills are incredible. There was a phase. I did a live stream once where I was live streaming on YouTube. I had a Zoom room open. I was simultaneously live streaming on TikTok. I haven't done many TikTok lives. I haven't done a lot of TikTok, but I had like all these things going, and then I was sharing reference, answering comments, and there was so much going on, and I was just like, whoa, so much. That was some peak level multitasking. And then trying to do a portrait or a series of portraits at the same time. All right, this part around here is very wet, and it's kind of like not drying. I want it to be drier, and it's just not being drier. Orange eyes as well. I like the white of the eyes is way too bright at the moment, but I'm very reluctant to go in there with anything because it will just go right into the orange eyes. How about the glasses frames? That could be really orange as well. That could be cool. Linda's been practicing a little bit. Oh yeah, trying to record and talk while painting. You sound awful and find yourself mumbling. You'll keep trying though. Yeah, excellent. Eventually you'll get better. You definitely will. Need to set up. Yes, it is. I'm pretty sure it's a learnable skill, and I've been telling lots of people this because a lot of people are like, how can you talk and draw at the same time? And I've practiced a lot, and I'm always happy to say that some of my work that I've liked least I have done in some of my early live streams where I was getting really into the conversation, and then it was just like painting along, and then at some point I'm like, what am I doing here? How am I going to save this? Like on stage in front of people. And like the level of the conversation was really high, and the work that I was doing, I was a bit like, what? But both things, like drawing is a learnable skill, like so many things. And then talking while drawing, I feel like there are also different things going on when you're working on different things in the process. So there's like some things when I'm trying to figure out composition or like really making choices which feel pretty complex, like then it's like, oh, I need to focus and I can't really talk when I'm doing certain things. But when I'm going back and forward between the reference and what I'm working on, and I'm making these decisions, and it's about translating what's from here to there. Somehow I practice that so much that it's kind of it's something I'm able to do while doing the work. And if you're still at a stage where which we all are to some extent, of being like, what's going on, what am I actually trying to do in the portrait, then then there'll be areas of your mental capacity that are totally focused on the portrait. But with the experience of doing a lot, then there'll be things that may become somewhat automated that you're able to work on while talking at the same time. I think that may be how it works. And some people do voiceovers. They record their process and then still too wet there. And then they'll rewatch their video and record themselves talking about what they were doing while they're doing it. And I've watched some of those videos. They can be super valuable as well. So it depends where you're at. And sometimes so many things that the editing, that's what's nice about speaking directly while working, is you save the editing time, which is really can be quite a big task. But yeah, so cool that you're doing it, Linda. That's amazing. I wonder, I guess everyone's got their way to work through, figure it out. But I know my wife, Kira, she teaches didactics. She's just into learning how to learn and how to teach people to learn. And there was even like a school subject at high school, pedagogy, I guess, pedagogic. And she works at the Englische Fachdidaktik at the university here. And she's also a yoga teacher, trainer. And she's really good at teaching people how to teach. And often when I have ideas, I'll run them past her, and she has great ideas. I'm not sure how much of it I am knowingly applying, but just going through the process of chatting about, I have this idea, I'd like to kind of convey this, communicate this, and it's like, oh, it's interesting, maybe this and this and this. How to get people to really tune in. Yeah, and I've been wondering, because I know, because Kira's working in the yoga teaching. She's a yoga teacher, and she teaches yoga teachers, and just teaches teachers. And I guess what I'm saying is I have, recorded quite a few videos. If anyone has any questions about how to do these things or things that you're struggling with, know that I've struggled with a lot. And if you have questions, I may be able to answer some of them. And a lot of the technical stuff, like, so many things I've recorded where I've thought I recorded and then I didn't record it, or I recorded it without sound, or I just lost files, or so many things. And that's just kind of a lot of stuff you just got to go through, I guess, eventually. But it could be helpful to have like a checklist, maybe. I'm not one for lists, actually, although I imagine it could be helpful. If you're like, okay, do this and this and this. Is this all like how it's supposed to be? Do I do that now? Those things may be kind of helpful. This nose, I've wanted the whole time to just be dry so I could work a bit more into the nose, and it's just not drying. Cats wanting attention. Yeti microphone, I've heard those are pretty good. Lewis says, if you want to work on very wet surface, what you have to do is put more pigment and make sure the brush has less water than the surface. Otherwise it will cause the dreaded cauliflower. Thank you. That's interesting. And Krista likes how the shadows and light from the glasses look kind of like war paint or some avatar markings. Yeah, it's very cool. Voiceovers, yes. Kira is amazing. Oh, you've been talking to Kara. Taking Kara's business class. That's really cool. Yeah, Kara's really, really good. Kira and Kara. I know, right? Two important Kira Karas. It's such a similar name, and they're both very good at things. a lot of this is pretty much done, and this has been a pretty long one, but it's also sometimes it's good to spend more time. I was thinking of this thing today. Sometimes the really brief, like super brief ones, can be really cool, and they have this wonderful expressive quality. And but something I remember I heard a long time ago, which was really, really cool, from, it was either Eric Fortune or Dan DeSantos on the Muddy Colours blog, was that often the difference between amateur work and professional work is just the time that goes into making it. And I think Eric Fortune was talking about work that he's done that takes 100 hours to finish a piece. I'm like, oh. And I remember being at a point where it's like, oh, I'm like doing this to the best of my ability, and it's just like, it's not that good. And then I read that and was like, oh, I'm like spending 5 hours tops on my work. And then to hear that these people creating these amazing images are like spending 100 hours on a painting, like, whoa. And that is not what I do most of the time. I have done a couple of like 100-hour pieces, but I'm generally very far from that kind of time frame. And I really enjoy this really brief practice. And something I've talked about a lot is that I think cumulatively, with lots of brief practice, we gain a lot of experience, which can feed into just our understanding of things and how we make things, and all adds up. But I remembered that today, and how at the time I was like, oh, I'm like never content with my work, but maybe if I spend 100 hours on something, I'd be able to get it to a level where I'm kind of like more content. And at that particular time, that was really relevant for me. And now I find it hard to imagine having 100 hours to work on one piece. And I really enjoy the spontaneity of this kind of practice. You love the orange. Thank you, Linda. Glad you like it. I wonder. Now, this, I've got to wrap this up now. And this nostril keeps evading me. Maybe I can just draw a bit. So I'm going to finish this now just by doing a last draw over and see what happens. Oh, I can't. It's too wet. I can't draw on it. I will be able to draw on this when it's dry. Yeah. I'm going to have to wait. It's just too wet. But I have been wanting to further my exploration of getting wet with the watercolors, and this has been fun. I see these areas so clearly that I want a bit more definition and want to be a bit darker, but they cauliflowering. Thank you for sharing your time with me, everyone. I hope you're doing well. If you've been working along, I'd love to see your work, and I'm sure Jozefine would as well. So you could tag both of us on Instagram, join the Discord server, please. It's really cool, and I'd love to see you posting there too. I know not everyone does, but it's really nice to see people's work there, and it's there's something really cool about the community aspect of like then seeing a whole bunch of people working from the same reference, and to know that we've all been, wherever we are in the world, that we've all been focused on this one activity, and it's like this shared focus over time and space. It's really cool. And then on the Discord server to see people showing the stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, so interesting how you handled that, and like all these different takes on the same image. It's really cool. So wish me all luck for my workshop tomorrow with these kids for figuring out the composition. I can actually show you, before I finish here, before I log out, I will show you what I'm working on with the composition so far. And it's made up of drawings done by these kids, and some things I have kind of found the original reference and like redrawn. Some of the stuff the kids drew is drawings of drawings. So it was interesting in the workshop, the concept workshop. I was like, okay, so find some stuff that you'd like to draw, and then when they're looking up their reference, interestingly, they would look up like jellyfish drawing because they wanted to draw jellyfish, and that was really interesting because I was like, oh, you could actually look up jellyfish and we could draw jellyfish together. But they were happy. They were like, oh, I really like this jellyfish drawing. I'm going to draw this jellyfish drawing. So a lot of the sketches that they did are drawings of drawings, which is interesting. And yeah, it's been my challenge to figure out how I'm going to bring it all together. I'll show you in a moment what I'm kind of working on. And it's such a long composition. And it's going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday that we'll be working on it. And apparently 17 people are like registered to participate. So hopefully there's going to be a lot of hands. Hopefully I'll be able to coordinate it effectively to be like, okay, you do that. And so that we can get it all done. And yeah, I hope it's going to turn out to be an enjoyable experience and a cool piece of community artwork. And it's a very interesting process, like trying to coordinate something which is actually like it's beyond me. I'm guiding the process, but it's not mine. Okay, I think I'm done. I think I need to rest before tomorrow's workshop. Thank you all for being here. And this has been one of the longest, if not the longest, of these daily portrait practices. So if you've been here the whole time, thank you. Thank you so much. If you made it to the end, put your drawing hand emoji in the chat. And I'll be so impressed that you just tuned in, not knowing how long this would be, and that you're still here. Or if you're watching the replay, perhaps you saw, oh, this is like almost an hour, but I'm going to watch anyway. Thank you so much for making the choice to share your time and attention with me and Jozefine in this practice together. All right, I want to draw on this, but it's got to dry. It's just not drawable right now. So there we have it. I'll zoom in a little bit and just kind of see how it's looking. And I'll show you this strangely long composition that I'm putting together. Brigitte says, have a great workshop with the kids. Yeah, it's going to be cool. Dylan uses the dryer. In a minute, you have enough dryness of the surface to continue using transparent layers on top of those layers. Yeah. If I just took the time to let it dry, it'd be all right. And it's like all of these things that we do, whether it's 50 minutes or 20, it can be finished as it is, or it could be a foundation for the next step, which can be really, really interesting. Yeah, really cool. So I wanted to show you this composition that I'm trying to figure out, and it's just as a little bonus at the end of this. So it's it's really long. Just imagine this is at the edge of a basketball court, and it's 1.15 meters high. It's going to be on a fence, and This is the part that I kind of dig the most at the moment, with this jellyfish and LeBron James. Then this area I'm not really sure about yet, with some more jellyfish, and there might be Bubbles and his plankton from SpongeBob SquarePants, and some flowers and Deadpool, and this little like emoji I love you thing, just giving some love, and Deadpool, who's like so violent, also giving love, and this like cute little thing. And these I love. These were blind contour drawings we did together in the workshop. And oh, here's Hello Kitty. So there's all these different things that these wonderful kids want to kind of incorporate into this design. And I've spent hours trying to put it together. Still trying to figure out. And there's also stuff that's not in here yet. There's so much going on. These colors aren't quite like what we're going to be using. So this is, and it's at a basketball court, so this feels the most kind of context relevant, but I love having a giant jellyfish behind there as well. So, and there may be some bubbles, maybe putting bubbles in. And there was also a bunch of other things which may also be in here. So that's what I've been trying to figure out. And I'll fill you in on how that goes as we progress through the week. So that's it. Thank you everyone for being here. You're amazing. Joining me all the way to this. Almost been an hour. But here we go. Look at that. What's that? It's an hour. What was this? 20 minutes? Or was it half an hour? Was this 20 minutes? So the thing of like, and this one I went and spent a lot more time on, of True. And it's like, oh, here we go. I think this was like 20 or 16 minutes maybe. I think that was on Tuesday. And it's, it's so different. And sometimes the brief things are just like, oh yeah, cool, I love what I did in 6 minutes. And sometimes you could be working for an hour and be like, where's the oomph, where's the power that I have in the quick ones? But then like working towards bringing it to have the same kind of level of energy and impact of some of those brief ones. It's a very interesting kind of line to be walking. It's pretty dry now, but it's bedtime. So thank you everyone. So good having you here. You're all awesome. And thank